Hey everybody, welcome back to another review with me. I am your host Maxine and we are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 20, episode 10. This episode is titled Game On or Game Over. This episode was jam-packed. Was really good. I really enjoyed it. There's so much to discuss. So it's only 3 days until decision day. We start off with Marissa and Adam. They're talking in their apartment and they're on the couch being handsy, and obviously they have great chemistry. Physical touch is natural to them, so that's nice to see. But they do touch on how they're realizing that they're bad at being serious. Like, they are quick to being lighthearted and carefree rather than having those serious conversations. Now, here's the thing. I feel like it's good to have a partner where you can be lighthearted with, where you can have fun with. Like, not everything has to be serious, but I think it is necessary to know how to have those serious moments. So figuring out a balance there is important, but I don't want them to lose that lightheartedness that they have with each other. I think it's fun. Like, I think it's nice to be with someone who brings out the fun in your life. They talk about misconceptions, and Adam says how his misconception is that people think he's not serious and he's all about his jet ski. And it's like, well, if that's all you show, why else would someone think differently, you know? Marissa talks about finance troubles that she experienced as she was growing up in her household, because her parents, they fought a lot over finances, and raising children who were around the same age, experiencing teenagehood at the same time and then college at the same time, it brought a lot of financial strain, and she witnessed that. So she, I think, carries that financial stress with her, and a part of me worries that, is she carrying that into this current relationship so much so that she avoids having serious conversation because she knows how serious conversations could lead to strain from what she saw growing up in her parents' marriage. They both share how they had body insecurities growing up, which is interesting because they both look really good. But Adam said he was really, really skinny when he was younger, and it wasn't until later on he bulked up. And anyway, they make a joke about having a threesome. They never experienced it. Marissa said, oh, would you have, because Adam said, under the right circumstances, if it's arranged properly, then he's down for it. And Marissa says, would you have with a boy or a girl? And he's like, well, if you're having with a guy, we'll have to be very coordinated and like not touch each other, which I was like, okay, good. Make sure that's straight. But also they made a joke and said we could just invite Felipe. Oh, that was funny. Anyway. And let's get to Nikki and Sean. Nikki and Sean is pretty much the main characters of this episode. I mean, a few of the couples really showed out this episode. I think they all really did a good job, honestly. Like, the whole episode itself. Anyway, let's go to Nikki and Sean. So we see them. Like, I feel like they really progressed, right? Like, last episode, I'm thinking, oh, this is all coordinated. It feels so contrived. But unless they're good actors, seeing them at the picnic together that Nikki set up. Now, of course, I'm sure the producers had a hand in it, but nonetheless, we see them having good conversations. We see them peck, right? They're kissing, not like with tongue or anything, but we see them have a peck. Nikki is saying she feels more hopeful between them. She says that there is, though she did not find him attractive in the beginning, like when she first saw him, she feels like she has been taking him in as a whole person, and that has grown her attraction towards him. Sean is encouraging Nikki to get rid of the block that she has when it comes to intimacy. Now, I feel like these are little Easter eggs that he's planting because he's a man, right? And he has been obvious with his desire to wanting sexual intimacy with his wife. But prior to that, though, remember, what we learned about him is that he didn't have sex until later on in his life. He grew up in a very religious upbringing, and that sexual repression, this is my theory, y'all. When you are sexually repressed and you finally release that, it becomes like somewhat of an obsession. You are obsessed with sex and pleasure and just physical intimacy. And though of course you want intimacy with your partner in all the ways, but when it becomes obsessive, that's when it becomes a bit annoying, to say the least. But I kind of hear him. I'm trying to give him some bail because we're going to get into it. Let me try to go chronologically. But nonetheless, they end this picnic date with a kiss. And like I said, it seems like it's genuine. It seems like she's into him, and obviously he's into her. But let's continue. So let's get to this. Okay, this scene with Tori and her friends. So she's meeting up with her friends, and it's a mix of women and men. The men, I think they're both gay, which is fine. But I'm just giving you the context here because there isn't a straight man point of view that she is getting from this friend group. And I think that's important. But nonetheless, she talks to them about Felipe's atheism because, as we know, Tori is a Christian. But she says how it doesn't really bother her because she doesn't want to hold it against him, and she wants to be open to him with his personal, journey, whatever, or just belief system or lack thereof. But she also feels like, it wouldn't be the godly thing to do to just judge him or like shut him out just because he's an atheist. Here's the thing with that. Now, I used to say, if you're not equally yoked, it's not going to work out, and both people will have to be of the same spiritual foundation or background in order to make it work. I feel like now we're in a new day and age in which we hear a lot of people say, I don't subscribe to religion, or, I'm deconstructing from religion, but I have a personal relationship with God, or, stuff like that, right? Now, granted, Felipe did not say any of that. He said outright, I don't believe in a God. Ain't no God out there for me, right? That's totally different. Now, he's not an anomaly. There are plenty of people out here who are atheists, and I don't want to shut them down and think of them as completely moralist people. Like, I think sometimes there's that impression of, oh, if you don't believe in God, then you're just an indecent person, and that's not true. I just think maybe I want to know more about that. I want to know more just from a curiosity standpoint. But nonetheless, that wasn't enough for Tori to feel like, or that isn't enough for Tori to feel like this isn't going to work out, which I actually appreciated. I feel like there's some open-mindedness. So basically she was saying she doesn't want to push upon him her own spiritual beliefs just because he isn't of that same page or same level as her when it comes to that. And I thought that was pretty fine. I thought that was actually thoughtful. And I feel like we have to get into a space where, especially nowadays, where it's become more trendy, I feel like, for people to either outgrow their religion or the indoctrination that they grew up in, and they either completely move away from religion or God himself, whether you want to put that together or not. And they may lean towards more atheism, or, I have my own customized belief, or whatever the case is. I think nowadays people will have to adjust. There aren't a lot of people, I feel like, maybe I'm just not seeing it, but like a lot of people are moving towards that like Build-A-Bear type of religion mindset. Nonetheless, let's not focus on this. I don't really care about that. We get to this part between her and her friends. She tells them about Felipe's cheating background and remember how he said how he cheated on his ex-girlfriend, but he didn't tell her about it until after they broke up, and it was like years after they broke up. He also said that he didn't remember it. Somehow it came up, or a memory triggered it, and anyway, he brought it up to her, told her about it, and said how he dealt with a lot of guilt and shame around it. Tori is explaining the whole story, and I thought that it was pretty fair for her to be very clear and articulate in what he said. She didn't mince any words, but her judgmental ass black female friend, that black girl that's in her friend group, I don't like her. I feel like a lot of black women, here we go. But I think with her, she had these like facial expressions going on. She just came off very judgy. She came off very judgy about this man who she has not met. She only heard about him in stories in this moment, right? And she had a lot to say about Felipe cheating on his ex-girlfriend. First of all, you being so shocked that someone cheated in a previous relationship is actually wild to me. Like, what are you, like, as if cheating is this unique thing that people do. People cheat. Can we stop there? I'm not saying everyone is a cheater. I just think this is not such this is not a unique experience or behavior that someone has, man or woman. And for her to have this reaction the way that she did, she just, he cheated on his ex-girlfriend, and how many years apart, or how long did it take for him to tell his ex-girlfriend that he cheated on? It's like, what does that matter? Can we stop there? Because how you behave in your previous relationship does not mean this is how you'll behave in your current one. I do not believe that. I don't subscribe to the whole once a cheater, always a cheater mindset. I don't subscribe to just holding people to their past behavior. That's just so silly to me, because if that's the case, why even try? Why even try to form new relationships? Why even try to grow in your personal identity and your behavior and your choice? Like, it's just so childish to me. It's so juvenile in her thought process. Nonetheless, she over there with her stank face on, like, bitch, how about you sit? Do you have a man? I feel like she is one of those single black women who has a lot to say, but ain't nobody checking for her. Anyway, let's move on, because I could go on and on about that. Court and Nick. So Court feels like Nick is super surface level. She is so upset about what happened during that group therapy session, because she felt like she opened up, but he did not. And she didn't like his response when she opened up. His response was like, oh, I want her to be more goofy, ha ha ha. And she felt like she was being serious and he wasn't. Now, granted, I understand what she means about that. I hate when, it's annoying when you're opening up and being emotionally serious and someone's response is a joke. And it's like, okay, what? But I don't think it warranted her behavior at all at the dinner. So Nick surprised her with the birthday cake, and it was a sweet gesture. And in the confessional, though she says she liked that he did that and she appreciates that, she's like, but I didn't like how, like, he's not vulnerable, or he's not sweet, or something, whatever it was. It just felt like, girl, can he do anything right to you? Like, are you going to accept anything that he does as a way of just a kind gesture and leave it at that? So at Felipe's restaurant, which, like, shameless plug, I like that. I wonder if he had to pay for that promo, but nonetheless, we're at his restaurant. It's Courtney's birthday party, and the theme is Mob Boss, which I thought it was a cute theme, but I feel like everyone kind of looked cheap. No offense. I feel like the decor looked cheap. I feel like the random the popsicle, the like plastic as it felt like it was I know it was real sunglasses, but like the glasses, like I feel like the look looked cheap. Maybe I'm just so used to these like Real Housewives type of decor, and these are real people with real jobs who may not make like six figures or more. Or maybe they do, but like they spend their money more productively. Nonetheless, I feel like it just looks it looked cheap. It looked cheap. Maybe it was the lollipops I didn't like. Like, why y'all eating lollipops at a table? What? Courtney is saying how she wants Michelle and Caitlyn to sit next to her. And it's like, wait, what? Your husband is here. He gave you a surprise birthday cake, and maybe he was a part of the setup for you to have this dinner at Felipe's restaurant. And you over here like, oh, I really want Michelle and Caitlyn to sit next to me on both ends. And then finally she asks if like Michelle could get up so Nick could sit next to her. Like, why why are you so weird? Like, why are you making this extra step to be against your husband? So in this scene, of course, they're at dinner, they're drinking. Courtney's right next to Devin. And Devin's trying to talk to her and like give her some sense, because he's trying to tell her, look, you gotta try. You gotta be there and show up as a wife, as you can see on the screen. Shout out to Sean. But you gotta like, I need you to show your softness more. And he's supporting his man. He's supporting Nick. Courtney's not trying to hear it. She's just, she's super pissed, and it's obvious that they're talking about Nick, who's sitting right next to her. And she's like, just like, I don't want to hear it, Devin. I don't want to hear it. He doesn't want to be with me. If he did, then he would have reacted differently at the group session, because she's still holding it against him that he said he wanted her to be more goofy, which I get is annoying, but I don't think it warranted the type of response that you're giving right now. Like, I don't think it's that deep. Okay. We see Mecca and Belle. They're talking to, I think it was just Devin. Maybe it was Caitlyn sitting next to him at that time. I don't remember, but I remember Devin was in the conversation too. They were saying how they felt attacked at the last group session. And Belle again is saying how she doesn't feel like he's being performative, and she's super defensive about him, which, girl, look, maybe, I don't know. I feel like he was being performative. I felt like it was doing too much on 10 when he was trying to just say, yeah, I feel super safe with her. I felt like it did felt performative, but Belle is saying how this is how he is even in private. So if he's performative in private, then I mean, whatever. At this point, I gotta take her word for it. If she doesn't feel like it's performative, then maybe it's not. Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe it's just the impression that we're receiving, but it's not the case. Nonetheless, Mecca really took it hard, and he felt hurt by it. We get to Courtney. Courtney's trying to tell Caitlyn, get your man, get your husband, because he's trying to make me see something about myself that I don't want to see. Basically, he's trying to hold Courtney accountable, but Courtney's not trying to hear it. She's shutting him down. Caitlyn sits down, and she's not really trying to even hear what her husband has to say, what Devin has to say. And Devin doesn't like that. He's like, I'm not asking you to take my side. I'm asking you to hear me out. Which I felt like it was a fair response. But the way Caitlyn is, it seems like she's quick to take the woman's side than she is her husband, when in all actuality you all met each other at the same time. Because her saying to her husband, why would I take your side if I just met you 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? It's like, bitch, why are you taking Courtney's side if you just met her the same time frame too? Like, what are we talking about? We get to the next, before the next day, or before we get to the next day, we see Devin and Caitlin. They get home. It's apparent that Devin probably drunk a few, but I don't think he was aggressive. I think he's trying to squash it. I think he's aggressively trying to squash it with his words. He's trying to hug it out. She's backing away from him, and they're just kind of at a standstill. We get to the following day. He apologizes for last night. He didn't realize until now how much alcohol he had in his system, and he actually is hungover at this time. And Caitlin receives his apology. She does clarify to him that some things trigger her because I guess in previous relationships she dealt with traumatic past substance abuse, and I'm sure that was annoying. Sorry, my dogs are like what? Devin says he could regulate himself, and she accepts that, and they move forward, which I appreciate. Yeah, I think this was good. I think this was a good moving forward. She didn't hold it against him, and she explained her perspective and her feeling from that moment, and they moved on. So I thought that was pretty mature, actually. I want to take a page out of that book. So let's see. Okay, so we have a session with Brunson. Mecca and Belle, they're sitting with him, and they talk about feeling attacked. Well, Mecca felt like he was attacked, and he felt like him being vulnerable, it was thrown in his face. He said he felt like he was attacked by Brunson himself, Michelle, and Caitlin. He holds them to high regard. Well, he specifically said Brunson and Michelle. And Brunson actually apologized. He apologized that he felt like he was being attacked. And it was, even though technically it was one of those apologies that's like, I'm sorry you feel that way type of thing. But I think because the way Brunson articulates himself, it felt very genuine and real. But I think technically it's one of those apologies like, I'm sorry that you had the feeling of being attacked. That wasn't my impression. It's just the same as you would say, I'm sorry if you feel like I attacked you, but whatever. But anyway, what happened? Mecca talks about with permission, which was nice. I like that Brunson asked, is it okay if we talk about your mom? And Mecca's like, yeah, it's totally fine. So Mecca talks about the impact of his mom leaving him, how that was the origin of him feeling he's not deserving of love. And it really is impactful. Brunson tells Belle that he feels like she already loves him, and she's smiling, just googly-eyed. It's clear that she feels strong feelings for him. Later on, she says that she's not in love with him, but she's not far from it. We get to this next scene, y'all, and as you can see, is this image right here. As y'all can see, Nikki is straddling Sean. Let's just stop there and drop mic and end the recording. Nikki is straddling Sean. We don't see him straddling her, which, I mean, men don't typically do that. But we don't see him being aggressive towards her in any, heteronormative, typical way, which is what I'm saying, right? My point is, Nikki didn't have to straddle him. He didn't pressure her to straddle him. He didn't corner her, and she had no choice but to straddle him. But you know what I mean? She made the deliberate choice to wrap her legs around this man and hold him as if he's a horse. Now, I want you to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we continue on with them. But this was a brief scene that they showed from one of those surveillance cameras. And I want y'all to just hold on to that. Let's move forward, okay? We get to Cam and Michelle. Michelle brings Cam to her condo, who she shares with a male roommate of hers, who I assume is gay. And she walks him around her home. The home is beautiful, by the way. She actually redesigned the kitchen. She's good with doing the panels. And she actually showed him some of her paintings, and she's super humble about it, but it's really impressive. like high class, I would purchase these paintings and have them in my home, which I have a few paintings that I get from Etsy that I just love, just like very authentic paintings. So I think it's really impressive that she has this talent, this skill, and she's just like super like chill about it too. Let's jump into Nikki and Sean, okay? So they're not having sex. They're still not having sex. Remember, Nikki says she does not want them to have sex until after decision day. And that's when it became this like, you know, they had that little moment of tension because she felt like, or he felt like she made that decision for the both of them without necessarily having a conversation that was agreed upon. So Sean said, mind you, this is done through the surveillance camera. We're seeing this through surveillance camera. Sean says how he feels like after they have a good night and the following day comes, he feels this increased desire for her and he wants to release that. And he is suggesting for them to have for them to have mutual masturbation, for him to get that release. And he also says how this is part of like showing up as a wife. Look, I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers. He's not wrong. Let's say that again. He's not wrong. Why isn't he wrong, Maxine? Because you're in a marriage. You're in a marriage, okay? Your duty as people in a marriage, both the husband and the wife, you need to fulfill the physical desires of your mate. I'm sorry if that sounds weird, but we can't act like that's too much to ask for. It's actually wild that this is a weird topic. Okay, now granted, this is the setting of two quote-unquote strangers who met at the altar, who signed up for this, but met at the altar just 3 weeks ago, and they're kind of figuring out how to go about each other. But generally, I don't think this is a weird thing to ask for or desire or want from your spouse. Now, he suggested this because, like I said, she says she does not want to have sex. Not yet. And he's thinking, okay, this could be a fair balance between the both of us. Okay? Let's mutually masturbate. I don't see an issue. Hello? I don't see an issue. I don't. She's saying how she's not really comfortable with that. They're having a really articulate, mature conversation, I feel like. This is actually brave of, not even brave. I feel like it's just weird that we have to be cringy about sex, especially when you're having this conversation with your partner. But nonetheless, I think Sean is handling this with care and is pretty mature in his explanation. And I think Nikki's response in the moment, it came off mature. So I was surprised later on with the conversation she initiated. But anyway, she says she's not open to it because she's just not there yet, something that she has to unlock. And she said, how about you masturbate like independently? And it's like, huh? He said how he doesn't really want to masturbate independently because he's in a marriage. He doesn't want to have that dopamine release outside of his wife. He wants to share that with her. And I thought that was pretty great. I think that's fair because you have a lot of marriages. You have a lot of marriages in which sexual pleasure is fulfilled independently. Y'all are not having sex together. Y'all are not desiring each other. Y'all are in this business-like relationship, this marriage, and you're getting your needs met elsewhere, whether it's outside the marriage or if it's independent from your partner. It's not together, right? And that creates disconnection. That creates strain. So for him to be active in wanting a shared dopamine release with his wife, think that makes sense. I think that's actually very thoughtful. Why wouldn't you want that? Okay? So she's talking about how she needs to unlock that. She's not there yet. But let's go back to the scene. As you guys will see again, right here in this image, you see her straddling him. What is it that you need unlocked? I think the door is wide open. I think the door is wide open. What are we talking about? So for her to act like what he's asking is just out of bounds, you just wrapped your leg around him. Both legs. Huh? At this point, he should have been figured you. I don't know. That's just me. But let me know what y'all think about that. We see Bella and Megha. They have this cute flirtatious moment in the court, on the basketball court, and that was cute. Like, they're seemingly getting along well. They have great physical chemistry, so I think that's nice. Court and Nick, they're preparing to talk to Dr. Paz. Courtney is taking out the laundry. Nick is on his phone, which I thought that was interesting because Courtney clearly says, what she said, she's like, oh, we got to take out the laundry, but we don't see him helping her or getting up to start folding the laundry. I thought that was weird. Like, okay, he's like literally just scrolling on his phone. Now, whatever he was doing, I don't know. I'm not trying to say it was unnecessary, but like, okay, are you going to get up? So they meet with Dr. Paz. Nick brings up the whole seating arrangement thing and how he felt like it was just hurtful. Like, she doesn't really care to include him, and she comes off like she's always annoyed by him, as if he's a nuisance. And I thought that was very spot on. I like that he said that. Courtney actually apologizes, and she apologized for being guarded. And the conclusion of that session was they're too much in their head. She actually initiates a kiss. And I mean, it ended well, but I just don't feel like Courtney nor Nick, to be honest. But if you want to compare the two, I think Courtney is more in need of personal growth than Nick. Now, I think Nick needs to work on his vulnerability and being more mature in his way of expressing himself, or just like leading, or just like showing up as a man. But I think Courtney ultimately needs to grow the fuck up. I think it's that. I think her feeling like, oh, I feel so cringy. I feel like this. I feel like that. It's like, I feel like she's just so childish. I just think that's the end of it. We wrap up this episode with Nikki and Sean, okay? Whew. Nikki is saying how... Oh, no. Okay. Sean actually sets up this nice little you don't got no sense theme night, which basically is him blindfolding Nikki and having her senses heightened. He blindfolds her and feeds her different things, and she has to guess which food is in her mouth. He does some feather rope play. I think it was very nice, very sensual, very creative. Now, typically, a night like this would lead to sensual touching, to sex, right? It will lead to that. Now, one may think, okay, dang, Sean is still putting it on so heavily when she clearly does not, and has said she does not want to have sex yet. So I could see how this could be slightly annoying. But he says he's doing this as a way to unlock another sense of intimacy, to help unblock that between them, or from her specifically. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is Sean being manipulative in a way, or it's him being thoughtful and helping her to feel comfortable being sensual with him. She brings up the whole conversation of the mutual masturbation. And she says she felt uncomfortable that he said this is a wifely duty, and this is something that she needs to do to help him release tension. He gets super defensive and says he never said wifely duty, and he never wants to come across as if he was saying that, as well as releasing, right? As if you need to help me release this. Now, Sean's a liar. Let's just stop there, because Sean, you did say that. Now, verbatim, did he say wifely duty? No, but as you can see on the screen here, he says showing up as a wife. Bitch, if I said wifely duty or not, you know what the fuck you said. So cut it out. Stop playing semantics here. I got the point of what you said. So there's that. And I think he's a type to, oh, I didn't say all of that. Come on, ain't nobody. So he's in the confessional talking about, oh, ain't nobody sweating you. Ain't nobody sweating. He seems like the type of guy who, after a girl rejects him on the street, he's going to be like, ain't nobody want your bitch ass. Like, he's the type to be like, no one wanted your flat ass anyway. That's what he gives. Like, he can't handle rejection, so he's gonna act like he didn't really want you. He's gonna act like you really wasn't anything serious. That's what he does, and that's all ego. That's all ego. Here's the thing, Nikki, you cannot straddle a man and then get upset when he says, hey, let's at least mutually masturbate, since you don't want to give me any sex. Like, you I'm sorry, you can't be mad. You can't straddle a man and then get mad when he says, I need you to show up as a wife and jack me off or something. I'm so serious. You gotta give a little something. Or don't give anything at all. You can't give me a little and then get mad when I ask for that little in other package form. Does that make sense? You can't straddle me and then get mad when I ask us to independently masturbate in front of each other. Why is that weird? Why is that weird? I feel like if Sean if Sean was this like typical 6'5" height or aesthetic that she probably has said that she likes to her friends, she would be all over him. And it wouldn't be this whole let's take it slow or let's wait until after decision day thing. I think that's what it is. I want to know what happened right before she straddled him that led to her straddling him. I want to know. I don't want to say, oh, maybe they had a few drinks and no. Something was said, a mood was felt, and she acted on it. We cannot ignore that. You straddled him. Like, what are we saying? Look, I said what I said. Let me know what y'all think about that. Leave it in the comments down below, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.